It's Friday, March 28th, and it's time for your weekly recap. Sorry for all the background noise today. There is a lot of construction going on in our area, and they can't be bothered to stop, so you're just gonna have to deal with all that background noise. That's what it sounds like. Jonathan, what's your favorite packet effect for walk-around gig? Thanks, and keep up the good work. There are two that I use pretty much every time I do a walk around scenario. The first one is eye exam. I love that routine. I have kind of developed my own way of presenting it, and it's sort of evolved, and I like it when tricks do that and it sort of becomes my own. The other one is Bewave. I think that is a hard-hitting packet effect and has mentalism as well as being a card trick. I really like that effect, and so those are my two. Official Michaela wants to know, how do you do magic with a dislocated shoulder? First off, you're going to want to go ahead and pop that bad boy right back into place. Then after seeking some medical assistance, you probably want to take it pretty easy with that arm. I haven't ever dislocated anything, but I have broken my arm, and it stopped me from doing shows for a long time, and I was really sad. I had just gotten some new magic and I couldn't even practice it because I couldn't hold the deck of cards with a cast like in my way. Having injuries or sicknesses have actually helped a lot of magicians because it allows them to further their abilities in other scenarios. So it's kind of like an artist using a limited palette of colors. Some of the greatest works of art were produced because as an exercise, an artist decided to eliminate yellow or eliminate, I'm not going to use orange, I'm just going to use blues or whatever, and they end up creating these new and different types of art. The same thing can apply to magic. If one arm's not working, work up the strength in the other arm. Perhaps you can do different moves with your less dominant hand that you weren't able to do beforehand, and you can kind of switch it up when your arm gets better and be really magical. Super double the magic. Thomas, I have Fractalicious and it's awesome, but should I get Bullet Party as well? Indifferent face, smiley face, really big smiley face. I think if you like Fractalicious, you're gonna love Bullet Party. There's a lot of great stuff on there, and it's John Bannon. If you're doing packet effects, we're talking about packet effects, gotta mention John Bannon. He's invented some of the best, so enjoy Bullet Party. Kapow! Carl, what would you say are the drawbacks of performing packet effects? Smiley face. One of the biggest drawbacks I've found with packet effects are that with a lot of them, the cards are not examinable at the end. Other drawbacks include pocket space, having to take up multiple pocket space areas for different packet effects, having the cards look suspicious when they're pulled out of those little wallets, and most of them have kind of a lengthy story attached to them, and sometimes that doesn't work in every scenario. Hot tip from Chris. And I think this is going to be the most useful thing of the entire weekly recap, so pay attention. This is what I used to carry around with me. This is a bunch of plastic card wallets. You get most of your packet effects in these, so you have them probably if you do packet effects, and this is literally, this whole stack is what I used to carry around with me to every gig. This is huge. This is a deck of cards. This deck of cards takes up actually less space than this, and it is stacked with everything that these used to contain. Okay, what I've done is I've taken a regular deck of cards that matches the other deck of cards that I've been using the whole night, and I've stacked it with a boatload of gimmicks. The nice thing about this is I've got a top stock all set with regular cards, and then as you get further down into it, you start getting into the weird backed cards and face up cards and all the weird stuff that you end up with. I've put a little mark on the corners of the cards where they start getting weird, so I know how far down I can spread. I've got a couple of packet effects up at the top that use the regular back, and then everything else is down at the bottom. I got jokers down here for NFW. I've got, I know my jacks are for eye exam. I know my fours are for shock twist. And basically what it looks like is I put my deck of cards away after doing some magic. I do something else, do something with a ring or coins or whatever, then pull out this deck, and to an audience, they don't notice that you've switched out a deck of cards unless it's a different color, because they don't even think like, oh, maybe he switched out the deck of cards. There's no reason for that. There's no reason for their mind to go there. There are a couple of cards that this won't work with, like if you're doing Color Monty or if you're doing anything with like an ESP style deck. it's not going to fit in to have it hidden inside the deck, and for that you probably want one of those little wallets if those are tricks that you want to do. But I've found that this really strengthens all the packet effects that I perform, makes it easier to carry them around, and it makes everything just feel more natural. So how you make this is you place all your packet effects out in front of you, look at what they are, take out the duplicate cards from your deck of cards. So if you've got a thing with the aces, you take out your aces, toss them or tear them up or do whatever it is that you like to do with your spare cards, and then place the gimmicked cards inside the deck where they make sense. If the backs of them are messed up at all, they go at the bottom part of the deck. If the faces of them are messed up at all, they can either go at the bottom part of the deck, if you can spread through and like kind of be sneaky about it, or the top stock of the deck. The nice thing about not having too many gimmicks on the top stock of the deck is you can do certain tricks, like you could do the 2-card Monty, or you could do forced outcome with this deck of cards leading into the packet effect. So if what you're performing only uses the top half of the deck, then you don't have to worry about it. You can do tricks with this deck of cards that are not packet effects and then go into packet effects. There are a few little sneaky things that you're gonna have to do and figure out, like how to pull those cards out, because some of them aren't gonna look right inside the deck of cards. And I'll show you a couple of examples of what I do, and that way it'll kind of get you thinking along those ways so that you can put in your own packets and understand how to maneuver the cards in order to make it look convincing. So this is going to vary depending on what kind of tricks you like to perform, but for me, I like Bewave, and Bewave has a bunch of standard backs, but it's got craziness on this side. But there's one face-up card. So how am I gonna justify this? How am I gonna make it look correct? The first thing I'm gonna do is take the face-up card and another card, which will be my cover card on top. And then these 2 blank cards are gonna go every 3rd card after that. So I'm gonna put that one there and this one here. So now I know where my Bewave cards are, and I've got that memorized. Anytime I wanna spread through the deck, I just need to do a block push off and make sure I get those top 2 cards, okay? So I'll just kind of go like this. And now when I'm ready to perform Bewave, I want to make it look like I'm taking out 4 random cards from the deck. So what I'm going to do is push forward this one. It's the 3rd card down from the top, 1, 2, 3. So I know that's going to be one of my blank cards, and then another 3 cards, another blank card, and then I'll push out a random card near the bottom of my top stack. And then I'll just grab these 2 as one. So there's 2 here. I'm grabbing them as one, pulling them forward, and I'm going to make it look like I'm stripping out all of these cards, but what I'm actually doing is with my left finger, I'm gonna push this card back inside the deck. Okay, so I'm actually just gonna go like this under the cover of these cards. So I'll do that again real quick here. This one goes forward, this one goes forward, this one goes forward, and then as I'm pulling these out, I'm pushing this back in. Okay, it's sort of an exposed view. Now I've got the 4 cards that I need, which are blank and that face-up card. And all that's left to do is to kind of get it into position. I can either do a Jordan count or just move a card up and then do an Elmsley, and I'm ready to go. Good to show this trick. Same thing works on the other side. On the other side, I'll show you with, let's do eye exam. I have a block of cards here for NFW, so I'm gonna push those out of the way. Find my jacks, and I know with my last jack I have to push 2 cards up as one. Okay, I missed that first one there. So this is the block push off. Here, find my first jack, second jack, third jack, and now I'm gonna kind of get a pinky break under both of these cards and pull them forward, okay? Because that's what I need for this. Now I've got everything ready to go for the eye exam trick. So those are the kinds of things you need to think about in order to set up your Gaff deck. Tamaji012, hey Chris, I'd love to do magic for my friends, but I have one friend who's just always trying to ruin my tricks by asking questions I can't really answer without giving the secret away, or touch things he isn't supposed to touch. What to do? Thanks, big smiley face. The way I see it, if they're a good friend, you've got 2 options. One is whenever they're around, just stop doing magic for them. 2, which is probably better, in private, not in front of anybody else, talk to them and say, hey, you know, I do this magic thing, it's part of my personality, it's part of what makes me me. And when you do these things, you kind of ruin the whole thing. They might not even realize that what they're doing is making you really uncomfortable. So unless you say something to them just head on, how are they gonna know, you know? Right? Good. Logan Magic 98, what's your top 3 best packet tricks? Mine is 1, nothing but the truth, 2, panic, and 3, ace. Those are all really great. I think mine are eye exam, bewave, and let's go with NFW. Hi Chris, do you like turtles? Smiley face with a nose, smiley face with a nose, smiley face with a nose, thanks, smiley face with a nose. Yeah, I like turtles. I've actually had a conversation about this with my sister the other day, because she hates turtles. She's freaked out by them. I've always wanted to go swimming with turtles, and she tells me that out in Hawaii, turtles like eat off people's fingers. Like every other person is missing a finger. They don't have as many digits because of turtles. So that doesn't really fly with me because I use my fingers a lot for the magics. So I think I'm gonna have to let go of that dream of swimming with the turtles. Mystifying card magic. Chris, is a complete show of card tricks too many card tricks? No, I don't think so. I think it really depends on who you are as a performer and how you structure your show. If your card tricks have a different plot as you go, if it's not just like pick a card, now I found your card, pick a card, now I found your card. If it's not the same trick over and over again, if you vary it, you can put together a fantastic show, and I have seen shows that were just card magic, and they were some of the best shows that I've ever seen. So there's been a lot of great stuff coming into Magic Geek lately. This week we had the 3D Crystal come in. I don't know if you've seen that, but it looks freaking amazing. There was the At the Table lecture series is happening at Magic Geek now, and that is fantastic. You definitely want to check that out as well. So it was kind of hard to decide what I should do the thing on this week, what I should feature. But since we're doing packet effects, hello, shock twist, that makes sense. This is by Gary Jones, and it is a fantastic routine where you have 4 cards, and it's sort of like twisting the aces where the cards sort of turn over, and then there's kind of a kicker ending, and then a bonus kicker ending where all the backs of the cards change to completely different backs. The backs that they have been seeing the whole time are not there anymore, and there's 4 completely different backs to the cards. This is fantastic. We shot it out on the street. Check out the demo. Really good stuff. If you're into packet effects, I highly recommend you check out Shock Twist by Gary Jones at magicgeek.com. Akash Varia Mentalist, packet effect, dun dun dun. What are the best packet tricks involving mental? Finish the word. Winky smiley face with a double chin. Ism, I think is how you finish that word. Law, law, law. So yeah, best mental packet effects. BTW, flying to LA to see your show. Insert smiley face here. Are you really flying to Los Angeles to see my show? If you are, that's like the coolest thing I've ever heard, but if it's not, the thought does count. For mentalism routines, I really like using ESP cards because when you use regular cards, even if it is a mental routine, for some reason people go, trick cards, I don't know, or card trick. But when you use an ESP deck or a set of ESP cards, it really brings it to the next level. So I think Especially Wild, I think is what it's called, is a fantastic trick. And that is the one that I'm gonna go with for my mental packet effect. Henry, hey Chris, I have a question about Nothing But the Truth. Is it a self-working packet effect, for is there sleight of hand? Thanks. It's self-working-ish. The DVD teaches you 2 different methods. One is completely self-working, the other requires some sleight of hand. It's simple, basic sleight of hand. This next Tuesday, the 1st, I am performing in Los Angeles, so I thought it would be good if the topic of next week's discussion was setting up your own show, how to promote a show, how to put on a show, and how to structure your show. So if you have questions on building a show, on putting on a good show, please put them in the comment section down below, and I'll use what I've learned in this last week to answer your questions. It'll all be fresh in my brain, and that is going to be really exciting. Be sure to subscribe, which I think is above my head here. So you click on that and you can subscribe, check out all of our other videos that are playing there, and be sure to leave a comment, 100% leave a comment. Give us a thumbs up. I think I've covered everything. I'll see you next week.